You know, what if I told you that mastering real conversational English could be as simple as rewatching your favorite TV show? It almost sounds too good to be true, right? But stick with me because in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how a sitcom can become your secret weapon for fluency.
So, can it really work? Oh yeah, the answer is a huge yes. But there's a catch. You can't just sit there. You have to switch from being a passive viewer to an active learner. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that to seriously boost your vocabulary, your pronunciation, and, maybe most importantly, your confidence.
So let's just reframe how we think about this for a second. I want you to forget about stuffy classrooms and those boring grammar drills. Your new favorite classroom? It's right there on your screen, ready to go whenever you are, with lessons taught by some of the funniest characters on TV.
And honestly, this is the absolute best part about it. When you're laughing along with characters you actually like, you're absorbing the language so much more naturally. It's basically learning through pure entertainment, which is one of the most powerful ways to make new skills actually stick in your brain.
All right, so out of all the sitcoms out there, why are we honing in on Friends? Well, look, a lot of shows can work, but this one is kind of the perfect storm for English learners. Let's break down exactly why.
Friends just has this perfect learning combination. First, the characters speak with a really clear American accent that's easy to follow. Plus, they're always having these everyday conversations about totally relatable stuff, work, relationships, just hanging out. That means you hear important vocabulary repeated over and over again, which really helps it stick. But the most important thing? The show is just packed with emotion, which is the key to understanding not just what people are saying, but how they're saying it.
And this slide really nails the core difference. Your textbook gives you the rules, right? But a show like Friends gives you living English. You get the slang, the shortcuts, the jokes. This is so powerful because it's exactly how we learn our first language, not by memorizing a grammar book, but by listening to real people in real situations.
Okay, so we get the why it works. Now let's dig into the what you can actually learn. We're going to deconstruct some dialogue and see the incredible lessons that are hiding inside just a few simple lines.
Yes, the iconic line. Anyone who's seen the show knows this one. But for a minute, let's stop looking at it as a joke and start looking at it as a perfect mini lesson in communication.
Just think about the words themselves. We were on a break. Super simple. But the way Ross delivers this line, just full of frustration and desperation, it changes everything. So how can the exact same words carry such different emotional weight?
Well, it all comes down to delivery. If you say it calmly, we were on a break, it's just a neutral statement of fact. No big deal. But when you say it like Ross does, we were on a break, it becomes totally defensive. It's a completely different message, using the exact same words.
And that's the huge takeaway here. Real fluency isn't just about knowing a bunch of words. It's about knowing how to deliver them. It's about mastering the music behind the language, the tone, the emotion, the real intent behind what you're saying.
Okay, let's build on that. Sitcoms are an absolute goldmine for something called phrasal verbs. Now, all that means is these are super common verbs made of 2 or more words, and native speakers use them constantly.
This table is a perfect example. A textbook might teach you to say, I will solve this problem. But a native speaker, they're way more likely to say, I'll figure it out. Instead of the formal let's meet, you're almost always going to hear let's hang out. Using these phrasal verbs will make your English sound way more natural instantly.
And of course, we can't talk about Friends without this absolute classic from Joey. And again, let's look at this not just as a funny catchphrase, but as a quick lesson in pronunciation. See, in formal textbook English, you'd pronounce every single word clearly. How are you doing? But in casual, everyday speech, sounds get blended together or even just dropped entirely. The R disappears, and that G at the end of doing just vanishes. It becomes, how you doing? This is how people really talk.
And by learning this difference, you're actually picking up a pretty advanced skill called register. All that means is knowing which mode of English to use in which situation. A sitcom is a masterclass in the casual mode you'd use with friends, which is probably not the kind of language you'd want to use in, say, a formal job interview.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Let's get practical. Here is your secret formula, a really simple, repeatable 5-step method you can use with any episode of any show you like. This is it, your learning formula. Step 1, watch. Just put on an episode with English subtitles. Step 2, note. Don't try to write everything down. Just pause and jot down 5 new words or phrases that you think are interesting. Step 3, repeat.
Pick one short line of dialogue and just say it out loud. Step 4, and this is key, practice the tone. Don't just say the words, try to copy the character's exact tone and emotion. And finally, step 5, the most important one, use it. Take just one of your new phrases and find a way to use it in a real conversation that day. That's how you really make it stick.
And look, this method isn't about one long, intense study session. The real secret here is consistency. Doing this for just 20 minutes a day, every day, is going to build your skills and your confidence way more effectively than cramming for hours once a week.
So the whole goal here is to really shift your mindset. You're not just a passive viewer binge watching a show anymore. Now you're an active language detective, and you're on the hunt for clues to natural fluency.
It really just boils down to these 4 simple actions. You listen carefully to how things are being said. You observe the context and the body language. You repeat what you hear to practice the sounds and rhythms. And most importantly, you use the language in your own life to make it truly yours.
And I think this is the perfect thought to leave you with. The real rules of language, the little nuances of conversation, they aren't always in a textbook. Sometimes, the most important lessons are hiding inside a simple punchline.
So, the next time you press play on your favorite show, just remember, you're not just relaxing, you're learning. Listen closely, practice what you hear, and I promise you'll be speaking with more confidence in no time. So let us know in the comments which sitcom should we break down next.